Alright, let's go ahead and get started here. You are looking at the table of contents for StoryPals. This is the home screen, and I'm going to direct your attention up here to the buttons up in the top left corner, and there's the help button indicated by the question mark, and this is a 70-page tutorial in which you can navigate by swiping from right to left, and you can choose a section of the table of contents that you'd like to open. If you want to learn about how to take a quiz, then you can tap Take a Quiz, and this takes you step by step through the process of starting a quiz and taking it with one or more students up to 6. Alright, and then when you want to go back to StoryPals, then you just tap on Done, and then here is the options indicated by the gears button. There are options for, you see, for audio, visual, sharing stories, and so on. I'm not going to go throughout all these options because they're more advanced features that you can learn about later after learning the basics. And then here is the speaker button, which I currently have turned off so that the music isn't playing. And then I just turned it on for a moment there. Then there are buttons up here in the top right corner of the interface, which I'm going to skip for now and go down to the table of contents with included stories selected. Here's where you see the 24 original stories that come with StoryPals. And these stories have been written by me and my wife, Kelly Sailors, and hopefully you like them. The stories are organized in terms of the readability level or the difficulty level, starting with the easiest up at the top and going to the hardest all the way down at the bottom. You can also choose to see what the readability levels are for each one of these stories when you go into the options and turn on the readability levels. Now, we're just going to choose one of the stories, and I'd like to open Harry's New Home. Right away you see in the illustration there's an animation hint which indicates whether you need to tap or drag a given object in the illustration. This hand indicates that I can drag the bee around any which way, and I hear a little bit of sound, and then we can tap the hippo. Oh, and the hippo got some honey there. And then the groundhog we tap. And we have the hen as well. We can drag. And you can tell that there are lots of really cool animations here. They all have custom sounds that were made just for StoryPals, so I think that's pretty cool. Then if we take a look here at the text for the story, there's a player up at the top in which I can tap play to hear text-to-speech to read the story out loud.
Harry the hippo had a great life. He ate good food like honey, ham, and potatoes.
You could also see that there was word highlighting that went along with the text-to-speech, and that can be really helpful for children who have a difficult time with reading. And there are lots of things that you can do with the text-to-speech, like you can play from any point in the story, like I can tap from right here to play the story.
One day, Harry met a hen named Honey.
You can also skip from one sentence to the next using the skip back and the skip forward buttons.
On the hike, the lake didn't have a hole with a groundhog. There was no swarm of bees.
Alright, you can also record your voice too by tapping this record button. It flips over the player, and then you can tap on the red button and record your voice. Harry's New Home. You can do multiple recordings too, and each new recording just appends to the last. So let's see. Harry the hippo had a great life. He ate good food like honey, ham, and potatoes. Then you can play the very last recording from here by tapping play, or you can go all the way back to the beginning to play everything. Harry's New Home. Harry the hippo had a great life. He ate good food like honey, ham, and potatoes. And one of the great things about the recordings is that they are saved just with this one story. So then when we go on to the next story, I can swipe here across the bottom right page. I can record my voice for this new story, The Best Animal in the Outback. So the recordings that you do are saved just for the story that you are looking at in StoryPals. I do want to point out how you can go back to the table of contents by tapping this button. This is one way to navigate from one story to the next. Let's say we want to go on to Monkey's Mistake. Then it opens and we see animation hints for these animations. This indicates dragging downward, like so. And that's just a simple tap, and we can drag the monkey. And I found that when I work with kids using StoryPals, they really enjoy the animations and they have a lot of fun with them. Okay, then here we could read the story, and we could read it with the text-to-speech and word highlighting, or if a student is able to read independently, he or she could do that. And then when that child or even a group of children who are enjoying the story are ready to take the quiz and answer questions about the story, then tap the quiz button up here. And this is where we have our students, and I've already set up a couple. This is actually me when I was a child, and then my wife Kelly when she was a child. We can set up a new student, and I'm just going to type in a name for a boy that I work with by the name of Adam, and I would just put in his name and also choose his picture. Now I'm going to use photo and find him right there. If this was a regular device, I could take his picture. Then we need to choose one or more WH questions that he would need to practice. And for Adam, he needs to practice some of the easier WH questions like who, what, where. You see that there are other WH questions. There's even a how question type that can be used when you're creating your own stories. Now let's tap done, and we can choose one student to take this quiz, or we could choose up to 6 students. And coming from working in the schools, I know a lot of times kids have to work in a group and there's only one iPad for the group of children to use. So that's why you can select more than one student. Let's say Adam and Eric are going to take the quiz for this monkey story. And then down here at the bottom we can choose to shuffle the questions. Right now it's set to on, that's default. And then we can decide the number of answer choices. 4 is actually the default, but we can go down to 3 or 2 answer choices. And for Adam, I think 3 is just right, so we'll choose that, and then we're ready to begin the quiz. Here we have up at the top the number of questions. We have this is question 1 out of 16, and the question here we can just read independently, or Adam, who is up right now, this would be his turn. He has a hard time reading sometimes, so he a lot of times will tap on the question to play it out loud.
Who is playing a game?
And he can choose one of these answer choices, but there are occasions where he forgets what the information is from the story, and we tap on story text, where we can go back and find the information. And I can even point out to Adam a particular paragraph where the information can be found, and if he is unable to read the story independently, then we could play it with text-to-speech, like so.
Monkey was having such a good time playing in the trees he forgot he was hungry.
Okay, and then I can have Adam answer the question here, and in this case, monkey would be the choice.
Monkey.
So he hears monkey, and then when he's ready to confirm that answer, he taps next. Alright, and he hears that's correct. And now it's my turn, and I have a when question that I need to answer. and let's say I am not sure what the answer is and I just go with this choice here.
In May.
Then I want you to notice how it gives me a different sound when I'm ready to go on to the next question, because this is actually the incorrect answer. So let's check that out. Okay, so you could see that it actually gave me the right answer too. And so then we can just go throughout the quiz, taking turns. Adam will go, and then I'll go, and we'll keep alternating. We can answer all 16 questions, or if we're done at any time during the quiz, then we'll just tap done. And now we see a summary of scores. And in this case, I'll tap Adam and see that he answered just a who question. So there's his accuracy for that question type. In my case, I answered a when question, and I got it incorrect. I could take some notes if I want to. Now, if we answered all of our questions, we'd see data for what questions, who questions, where questions, any questions that are tied to that particular student. And then we can actually export these scores by tapping on this button up here. We can export to email, or we can copy the scores to clipboard and then later paste the scores into another application. Something else we can do is just tap on the scores button, and then we can see scores for our students over time. So here for me, I see here are my scores for Monkey's Mistake, the quiz that I just took. Here are some other scores from previously in this app. And we can choose Adam or any other students, and we can decide if we want to export any of these scores or delete any of them as well by tapping on the edit button. Alright, now let's go back to our table of contents here. We just went through some of the included stories and how you can take a quiz, but one of the, I think, greatest features of StoryPals is that you can create your own stories and your own quizzes. So let's begin with creating a new story. And we see kind of a blank canvas here, which we can start off by choosing an image. And we just tap on this image button up at the top. We can duplicate an entire illustration from one of the included stories and get all the fantastic animations that go along with that illustration. We can also choose illustration elements, or even use a photo or take a photo if we're on a device. I'm going to choose illustration elements, and you see there are different sections here with backgrounds starting off, and I'm going to choose this jungle background, and then I want to add to that. So I'll choose some other illustration elements. I could choose some people, but for this example, I'll just have some animals. Let's add the dinosaur, and I can move him around. If I was on a device, I could actually pinch to zoom him out to make him bigger, or I could pinch to zoom and make him smaller. But I'm going to leave him like that, and then I will choose something else here. Let's do another animal. Let's go on and let's see. We'll choose the groundhog, okay? And we'll put him back here a little ways. Then we can enter a story title, and I'm going to just do this really basically. So, groundhog and dinosaur. Then I can go ahead and write a story as long as I'd like. I'm going to just do one sentence here, so let's do this. Now, when I'm done with this story, I can press this dismiss keyboard button and just kind of make sure that this is what I want for my illustration and story. And then I can go ahead and create a quiz by tapping the quiz button. And there's a prompt here that gives you information on how to set up your quiz with a question and answer choices and whatnot. And I'll show you how exactly that is done. So let's start off with a question, and let's do this here. Then tap done, and the question goes up there, and I can go through some different answer choices. I need to make sure that I put in all 4 answer choices, and I'll just choose one of them that's correct. It doesn't really matter which one. Let's make this the correct one though. So they were hanging out together. Then after I tap done, I'm going to actually choose the letter choice that would be correct. And then I put in 3 more answer choices. Alright, then here is the question type. This is a what question, so I'll select that in order to get the scores to be collected for this type of question. And then we're ready to go on to the next question, and I can enter in as many questions as I'd like, and if I want to, I can even choose how questions. So I just want to point that out here down at the bottom of the other WH questions. If I only want to have one question in my quiz, that's fine. I'll tap done here, and then this is still in our editing mode. I'll tap done again, and now we see here's our illustration, and we'll tap on the dinosaur, and we get the animation for him and also for the groundhog too. Okay, so we're getting our animations that we would get in our included stories. We can even play our story with text-to-speech and word highlighting.
Groundhog and dinosaur were hanging out together one day.
And then when we're ready, we can take the quiz. And this quiz can be taken by Adam or Eric or any of our students. But in this case, let's just have Adam take the quiz, and we'll tap begin. So here we go, we just have one question for him. We can show our story text, and just like before, play the question out loud and also hear the answer choices like so.
What were groundhog and dinosaur doing?
Now you see that since we have 3 answer choices selected, one of our answer choices that I created in the quiz when I was doing the editing is not showing up here, but we still have the correct answer choice to choose like so.
Hanging out together.
And that should be correct. Alright, great. And then we have again our summary of scores, and we can see how Adam got the what question correct, and also go back to our scores and see how he's done with this groundhog story quiz as well as the monkey's mistake quiz. So that is it in terms of now creating a quiz and taking it and whatnot. So this is showing the My Stories with Groundhog and Dinosaur story that I recently created. If I want to get back to the included stories, I just tap right here, and then now we can see the 24 stories again that come included with StoryPals. And that really concludes this demonstration of the StoryPals app. I hope that you enjoyed this webinar and learned a lot from it. Thank you, goodbye.